of hardship. Is that true? Then the Bible tells us that Adam knew his wife and she bore him Cain and Abel. Now there's a lot of theological argument as to whether Cain and Abel were twins, because the Bible does not make reference of Eve getting pregnant again. The next time the Bible tells us Adam knew his wife, she gives birth to a son called Enoch. And it says men began to call upon the name of the Lord. Is that true? But then you will notice something very strange. In every expression of the genealogy in the Bible, Cain and Abel are not mentioned. Read the genealogy in the gospel. Whenever it gets to Enoch, the son of Adam, the son of God. So we know for sure that there is a mystery behind these two fellows, Cain and Abel. Because when we get to the Pauline epistles, Paul begins to give us a revelation of Cain and Abel as an expression of the spirit and the flesh. Is that true? Abel being representing the spirit man and the spirit work, and Cain representing the flesh. But that's not where I'm headed to. Now we're in a situation where we want to investigate how this demonic software spread to come to our region now. Are we together now? The Bible says in the book of Genesis chapter 6. Let's look at Genesis chapter 6. Be patient, you'll begin to make sense to you. Genesis, in fact, let's start with Genesis 4. Genesis chapter 4, verse 16. Let's look at Genesis 4:16. The Bible says, and Cain went out of the presence of the Lord. Look up, please. Very interesting statement. It was the psalmist who said, where can I hide from your presence? So now he's saying Cain went out of the presence of God. Do you know what this means? Cain willingly unsubscribed to the governing influence of heaven. As an act of his will, I am no longer interested in you, God. I am not interested in your government. I want to live my life by myself. So we see direct rebellion against the government of God. And he dwelt in the land of Nod in the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and he builded a city. Let me correct myself. Seth, not Enoch. Forgive me. The other son of Adam is Seth, not Enoch. Enoch was the first son of Cain. And he built a city. Wow. So this is the first time we see that a man is attempting to build a city outside of the governing influence of the Christ. Notice the character of the Antichrist system. The moment it rebels against God, it seeks to build something, a monument that honors self. Number two, do you notice that Cain built the city and he named the city after his son? Satan never says worship me. He will always project something that came out of him. Revelation 13, you will see, right? The beast projects the Antichrist and says to worship the Antichrist. Remember that dragon? Satan will never come and say worship me directly, as it were, but he will build something that comes out from him and say worship me. This is the character of his subjugating men and bringing men under this Antichrist system. Cain did not name the city after him. He named the city after his son Enoch. From that time, watch this, rebellion. People did not subscribe to the government of God again. By the time we get to Genesis chapter 6, give us Genesis chapter 6. We'll read from verse 1, but verse 5 is the verse of emphasis. Genesis 6 and verse 1. Look up, please. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. The Bible says, verse 2, the sons of God saw the daughters of men. I don't want to get into this. There is a big confusion around here. But I know we talk about the Nephilims, the giants, the race of giants. The Nephilims are not the only race of giants, but they are a unique race of giants because they came as a product of intercourse between these fallen angels, the daughters of men, the children that came from that union. They are called the Nephilims, giants. They were superhuman.